Thanks, pet lovers. Bridget here with First Street Pets, and today we're going to talk about starting a dog boarding business at home. This is part three in the series Startup Essentials. Starting a dog boarding business at home is easier and less costly than the traditional commercial model, but there are some considerations. You won't need to buy or rent a facility or necessarily maintain a fleet of vehicles or a large staff, but there are some considerations. So these are the top six things for you to be aware of and to hopefully have lined up before you open the doors to your business. Number one, business name and identity. A business name can make or break a business. Just do a search for any kind of business, or if you see a sign or something on the internet or in a catalog, do you understand what that business has to offer? Or is the name weird or confusing or vague? Or is it really clear, like the Happy Driver Auto Mechanic or something like that, where you know what service is offered and as well as the location? You'll want to choose a name that's descriptive and easy to remember. Here's a couple fun ones I came up with: Happy Labrador Dog Boarding, Bully's Playhouse. You can also use your own name like Joe's Daycare, but be aware if you're going to engage other people in the business that it might be limiting just to have one name on the name of the business. You can also include your geographic location in the name, which will really help in searches. Many people search for dog boarding near me, and the search engines will search for the city name. So, for example, San Bruno Daycare or San Mateo dog playgroups or something like that will help you come up better in those kinds of searches. Whichever name you choose, you will need to make sure that it's not already in use. So, a quick Google search will give you some idea if there's another business out there with your name, but you do want to dig a little deeper. You will want to file a fictitious business name statement, which is usually done at your county clerk's office. They will run a search to see if anyone else is using that name or a name that's very similar. If they are, you're going to have to pick a different one. Once you filed your fictitious business name, then you are required to publish a little bit in the paper. And if you still read newspapers, you may have seen it in the back where it says so and so is doing business as, Joe's restaurant or whatever. I'm trying to stay focused here, but as you can see, I have someone who's trying to get my attention. This is Noelle. So the business name is just part of your overall identity. You need to think about what do you want to be known for with the public? Are you going to be running playgroups with big lively dogs like pit bulls and German shepherds? Are you going to specialize in senior dogs or little dogs or dogs with specific medical needs? All of that can be wrapped up into your business identity, name, logo, and marketing materials so that you will attract more clients and that clients will know what service you offer and if it's what they're looking for. Number two is a bank account. Now, you may think that you can just use your personal account, but it's a good idea to set up a business account, and you can do that once you've filed your fictitious business name statement. This is so people can pay you with a credit card or write a check in the name of the business. It avoids what's called commingling accounts, which is your business and personal expenses. It's just going to make your life a lot easier and your business a lot more efficient and profitable if you go ahead and set that up now. You can choose a business account at any bank that you like. You'll probably go for the bank that you already use for your personal needs. However, it doesn't hurt to shop around. Some companies have deals for new businesses and the fees can really vary. It would be nice if they offer like a free checking because you may not have a ton of money at first to maintain a minimum deposit. I personally use my local credit union for my personal and business because they have good accounts. I like the account terms. There's a very close by office that I can go in and talk to somebody, and I just like their customer service. So that'll be up to you to decide what you want to use. Another benefit of a bank account for your business is a business credit card. Now, you'll want to be careful if you are running up charges on the card and carrying a balance because, of course, you're going to have to pay the interest. But if you just want to use the card to keep your business expenses separate and have a nice tally of things that may be tax deductions at the end of the year, that can be a big help. it can also help you if you do need to make a larger purchase and you can't afford to pay the whole price right now, like maybe some office equipment, a new computer, or something like that that's going to require a larger amount of cash than you have right now. You can go ahead and put that on the business card, pay it in installments, and away you go. And that's another benefit of having a bank account in the business name. Number three, services and prices. Now, my next video will dive into more detail on services and prices. But in general, you kind of want to work this stuff out before starting your business. So you'll probably offer some kind of daycare, maybe during the day, and some kind of overnight service. You need to think about not just what you're going to charge, but how that works. In interfacing with folks in my area who do dog boarding, I've heard some different reports. In fact, one sitter was complaining that she had clients dropping off the morning of one day and picking up the evening of the next day, and she was only charging them for one day. So obviously, that's something where you need to figure out, are you just going to charge for 8 hours? Are you going to have specific business hours? When are the drop off and pickup times? And it's good to sort of sort that all out ahead of time. Then, if someone asks you for something outside of your normal services or time periods, you can decide if you're going to do it or if you don't want to do it, or perhaps you're going to charge a little extra, as they would at a commercial kennel if there's a late pickup or early drop off. As far as rates, I'm not going to recommend what you should charge because that's called price fixing and it's against the law. But it can be helpful to see what others are charging. And I will do sort of a comparison in the next video. But these prices can be all over the map. So while it's helpful to see what others are charging, you need to ultimately decide the value to you, what's worth your time, and what's going to cover your business expenses and give you a profit. You can't compare to a traditional commercial kennel because they may have 100 or 200 dogs at a time. So obviously, they can charge a lower price for that kind of volume. In your home, you may have only one or two dogs at a time, or you may want maybe 5 to 10, so a larger group. You may be taking care of medications and special needs. So, all of those are going to factor into what you're going to charge. Obviously, if you can take more dogs, you can charge a little less. But if you're going to do super specialized service or only one or two dogs at a time, and you let people know that so that they feel comfortable, they know they're getting a premium service, and you should charge accordingly. Number four is a website. Now, I wouldn't think I'd have to tell people in the 2020s to get a website, but there are still people out there doing business without a website. So it's super easy today. You don't have to be a technical genius. There are many do it yourself website companies like GoDaddy and Wix and Weebly and so forth. Just look up free website or do it yourself website. These are good to start. As your business grows, you may want to pay and get a website that looks a little more professional. You probably should buy a domain name, which is not that expensive. You can usually do that through any of those companies that I've mentioned. But you want to have a website that shows your basic information, the services you offer and prices, your contact info, and some information for SEO, such as where you are located and what type of business this is. Something like 80% of searches today are done on phones, mobile devices. So people aren't looking at any phone book anymore or anything like that. So when they look up dog boarding near me or dog boarding my city or dog daycare, whatever, you want your website to come up first. I have another video called How to Create a Website for Your Business, which I will link in the description. Another thing you should do is claim your Google Business listing. This used to be called Google My Business. Now it's Google Business Profile, I think, but it's free, very easy to claim and set up. All you do is look up your business on Google, claim it, and just follow the directions that they give you. I don't want to post a specific page because the interface keeps changing, but you'll figure it out. The only thing about Google Business is that you do have to use your address because it is a local search. Now, most businesses, a shop or something like that, have a business address. So if you don't want to put your home address, that's understandable, but you're going to miss out on a lot of business. You can't use a P.O. box or just a city or general location. You have to put your street address. But if you do, you will get tons of inquiries from those dog sitting near me searches. Number five, insurance. So Things can and will go wrong, which is why people buy insurance for everything in their life, from health to car to home. So, very important. I do have another separate video, which I will link, which goes into details about the kind of insurance you need and how much it costs. Now, pet care business insurance is pretty inexpensive compared to other types of businesses. Most policies you can get for probably $500 a year or less, which is pretty cheap for business insurance. It can be tempting to skip this step because you're low on cash and you want to save money, but all it takes is one vet bill. And if you've been to the vet lately, you know it's not cheap. So, one dog fight, one bite, one dog eating something and getting sick, and you could have a $500 to $1,000 vet bill right there, and that could have covered your insurance. So, definitely watch my other video, look into that, and sign up for insurance before starting your business. Number six is business license. Now, most cities and counties require you to pay a business license to run a business in their city limits. It's kind of a tricky word because it's not really a license. It's not like a license to practice medicine or something like that, or to practice law. It's a tax, which is paid to the city. And usually, when you start out, there'll just be a base fee, like maybe $25 or $50, depends on the city. And then as time goes by, the more you make, the more you pay. So it's basically a percentage of your revenues at the end of the year in that city. Now, here's the thing, I do recommend getting a business license, but in-home dog boarding isn't really legal in a lot of areas, even though there are over 500,000 people listed on Rover and Wag providing this very service, and that's just Rover and Wag. There's thousands and thousands of other people doing it with their own business or on the side or through social media or whatever. It's a very popular type of business right now, but usually it's not allowed in residential areas. So proceed with caution with buying a business license. Just be aware. I'm going to just give that blanket statement that everybody does. Be sure to follow local and state laws in your area, but just be aware that what you're doing might not exactly be legal. And if you run into trouble with the neighbors, if there are traffic impacts, noise, any kind of complaints, you could be forced to shut down your business. So just be aware of that going into it and take steps accordingly. I hope this has been helpful. I would love to hear about your business ventures in the comments. Please check out my other videos in this series, and thank you for watching. It's a good idea to set up a business account right away. You don't want. No, well, I got to kick you out.